Look out! Baseball season is on its way! Hi, I'm Andrew Alfred from All Andy Alfred, and today we're going to preview the 2010 baseball season. On the phone with me right now is Nick Devera, and we're going to be talking some baseball right now. And joining me right now is my good friend and everybody's good friend, the former founder of Airsoft and Sports, Nick Devera. Nick, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Andy. How are you?
I'm doing great. All right, let's get down to some baseball. I mean, baseball's coming around the corner. It's amazing that we went from November right to February in a heartbeat. So let's get on with the AL Central. Big division, a lot of key assets for them. Let's lead off with the Minnesota Twins. The Twins did a really nice job coming back and doing a. I think they did an all right job, but what do you think is going to be the key thing for them? And give me some analysis on the Minnesota Twins.
I think the Twins' biggest factor is going to be target field. The new ballpark opening up. If it's a pitcher's park, that should help their young staff. Hitter's park definitely increase the power of Morneau, Mauer, and Kadir. Um,
That's a pretty good idea. I mean, it is key for them. I mean, they went from an indoor ballpark to an outdoor ballpark. So where do you see them finishing up at the end of this season?
well, the Twins have to be the favorites going to Central. Of all the teams, it's probably the most well-rounded. They don't really have a legitimate ace, but they have four really good, solid young starters, the M&M boys, and of course they always play good defense, which has kind of been their motto for the last couple of years.
Totally agree with you on that subject. Now, going from the best in the AL Central last season to the worst. In my opinion, Cleveland was worse, but I think Kansas City was probably one of the worst teams in the division. Do you think that this team will be able to rebound from what happened last season?
Definitely not. The Royals essentially only have three good players: Zach Greinke, Joakim Soroya, and Billy Butler. I mean, they have no offense, they have no defense, they have no pitching, bad manager, bad GM. Even the renovated Coffin is a disaster.
I totally agree with you on this. I mean, it is a little ridiculous to say that this is probably one of the laughing franchises right now in the major leagues. I mean, it's basically like a high school baseball team in the major leagues. Bear in mind, besides Cleveland, there are. I mean, Kansas City is not one of my favorite teams, but oh well. I know this team is one of your favorite teams. Is the Chicago White Sox. The White Sox went out and got a lot of off-season moves. Tell us about the White Sox and how they plan on making 2010 one of the best years in White Sox history.
2010 for the White Sox will be based off pitching and defense. Of course, last trade deadline they got Jake Peavy, tinkered that rotation with Mark Burley, already a Cy Young caliber, Gavin Floyd, and John Danks. They're really gonna have to rely on bounce back years from Carlos Quint and Alex Rios to be successful in 2010.
Yeah, so in my opinion, I think they're gonna do a great job too, and it's gonna be a two-team race. I think it will be Minnesota and Chicago for it. But where do you see Chicago coming out at the end of the season?
Well, I like to say first, but if things don't click, I think it's probably second.
Okay, that I can honestly see that. Now let's get to, well, we're in Northwest Ohio, of course. So the two teams that border each other is basically Detroit and Cleveland. Let's start with the Tribe. The Tribe had one of the worst years ever, in my opinion, and Cleveland is looking for a bounce back year. Even though they've gotten rid of Cliff Lee and Johnny Peralta, I think, in my opinion, Johnny Peralta will probably be the next Cleveland Indian to go. But they hired this new skipper, Manny Acta. In your opinion, do you think that the Indians will have a legitimate chance for the 2010 season, or will this be another flop year for the Indians?
I think the only team worse than the Royals this year will be the Indians. When Jake Westbrook got the nod to be opening day starter in Chicago, I think when he's your opening day starter, it's going to be in for a long year. They should be okay with offense-wise with Sizemore coming back, Hafner, and Peralta. But besides and since you chew, but other than that, it's just triple A's and double A's in that team.
Yeah, and it is a rebuilding year for them. I mean, they went out and got the manager, but they reorganized within the organization. But overall, I think this will be one of those years where Cleveland fans will be either sticking their heads in a toilet or sticking their heads in a brown paper bag. This season for the Tigers is probably going to be a difficult year for us. Honestly, in this person's opinion, after losing Polanco and Granderson, and now hearing rumors that Johnny Damon might be going to Detroit. In your opinion, do you think the Tigers could go out and get Damon and could build up out in the outfield, or do you think this season will probably be one of the best or worst seasons for the Detroit Tigers?
I don't think they go out and get Damon. After all, they just got Austin Jackson from New York. I think they want him to be in the outfield and try leading off. Scott Sizemore playing second, batting second. I think Detroit could probably finish about 500, maybe 79 wins, but probably around 500, third place.
Right. I agree. I agree with that, but I mean, it would be nice to see a Damon out in the outfield. I mean, it would be a good acquisition, but I mean, you go from having Curtis Granderson, probably one of the best center fielders out there besides Grady Sizemore, and then you trade him away to New York, but you pick up Johnny Damon, who's good at the bat, but honestly, it's Damon. What do you expect? But speaking of the New York Yankees, the Yankees just came off of their championship run. They're going for it again. Do you think they will be able to repeat what they did last season?
Well, they certainly have to be the favorites in the American League to win the pennant. They really didn't do bolster their pitching much, which they really need help. I don't think adding Javier Vasquez is the solution, but I've been proved wrong before, so we'll see where that works out.
So do you think they will be able to make the World Series?
Yeah, I think they have enough power in pitching and defense, and plus Mo Rivera. I think they'll good chance to do it.
All right, that's pretty good. But you always have Boston. Boston's always a team that sits in the weeds and waits. And this season, I think it's going to be a difficult year for them with the loss of Jason Bay. Do you agree with this, and also what do you think about Boston's chances this season?
I think Boston's a pretty good chance. They lost Bay, but they picked up some power in Beltre. They picked up some speed in Mike Cameron and Marco Scudero, plus Jacoby Ellsbury. So they're going more to a speed style ball. They'll still have power with Ortiz and Lowell and Victor Martinez, plus Pale Montehelm. I think Boston has a good chance to get to the playoffs again.
Do you see them winning the AL East, or do you see them winning the wild card? That's one of my questions for you.
As of now, I'd probably give them the wild card, Don. I think New York's going to win the AL East with 100 plus wins again this year.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Nick Devera from Airsoft, the former founder of Airsoft and Sports.funboards.net. Nick, it's been a pleasure talking with you, and let's hope we can get together soon. I mean, we have all Andy Alfred night coming up at the Walleye game. You're going to be joining us. It's going to be a fun time, and I know you're a Chicago Blackhawks fan, so just give me just a little bit of reaction to them picking up the affiliation from the Blackhawks.
I'm overjoyed. I really am. See these young kids play for my team. It's really great.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks for calling in.
No problem. Have a good day, Andy.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Nick Devera from Airsoft Sports.funboards.net. He was just giving us the preview of the MLB season coming up. Pitchers and Catchers Report, February 21st, right here on All Andy Alfred.